All those times they had to show up on camera. I love, if you guys haven't seen the Ryan Grimm with his kids on camera report, whether it's at the Capitol or whatever, they're the funniest videos. They're always like tugging at him to go to the bathroom.
So let's move to some other right-wingers, shall we? Ainsley Earhardt and Charlie Hunt on Fox and Friends yesterday. Remember, this is the media organization that worked into their deal with the Seth Rich family. Don't announce that we've made this deal and we have conceded that we basically just blew up a conspiracy theory until after the election, because we are so not tied to the Republican Party, and that's why we would want to do that. But here's Ainsley Earhardt.
It's just going to backfire. I mean, it makes Trump supporters mad when they're told they're in a cult.
Yep.
75 million people voted for him.
Yeah.
And now what's making them just all of a sudden come out with this message? Because we know they've thought it for years, but now they're actually being vocal about it.
Yep. Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they feel like they're gaining the White House. They feel like they've got 2 years of political control. And by they, I mean not just Democrats, but also a lot of people like Katie Couric in the media who feel like they are part of the Democrats in politics. And they feel like they've got to get it all done. And they got 2 years to get it done because they know that usually their crazy when they flout, when they fly their freak flag with their crazy policies, American voters usually turn it off. 2 years from now, I would imagine the election is going to be probably a pretty tough election for Democrats. So they got to get it all done now. And so that's why they're coming out with all this stuff, because they want to, this is their one shot, because they know that if voters get to vote on it, and it's also why Joe Biden didn't really run a campaign on issues. He didn't want to talk about issues. All he wanted to talk about is Trump is mean. Trump, I'm going to make all the craziness stop. That's what his campaign was. Because if they actually are caught talking about the issues, they lose every single time.
Charles, always good to talk.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple of points I just want to make out. One is that the party that has the presidency almost always loses that off-year election. So that's not such a bold prediction. The other is all the issues that Donald Trump talked about in this campaign, which were that Joe Biden was sleepy, and that what else? What were the other issues?
Law and order.
About? Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Law and order. That was a great issue. We need to have
Hillary.
law and order.
Hillary.
And,
he ran against Hillary.
Right.
That was it.
Well,
and then
to be
socialism,
fair,
almost Bernie too. Yeah. Right.
also ran against testing against the coronavirus, because that's just going to give you more cases. That's the way you develop more cases, by testing more. That was a very strong issue for him. What was I'm trying to think what the other one was. Everybody should get the same treatment that he got in the hospital when he got COVID, except you're not going to. And that was that issue was, not so strong, I guess, for him. The whole, I got treated as if I was the president, so I didn't die from this. So hypothetically, you may not die if you get treated like you're the president of the country, if you get COVID.
Right.
That could be it.
Kind of a big blow to his, I'm not part of the establishment, I'm not an elitist brand, with his golden toilet or whatever. Also, Fox News needs to quit conflating the media and the Democratic Party. I mean, they do that all the time. One, it's easy, it's lazy, it's, every elite is the same. We kind of talked about this in some conflation that Glenn Greenwald was making last week, even though obviously to less of an insane extent here. But it's lazy, and it's also a little bit of anti-Semitism just sprinkled in there too. It's intentional. Yeah.
It's intentional. It's like, people forget, I don't know if they still do this, but back when Roger Ailes was there, he would send out memos every day and say every single show in their own flavor, even, the news shows, has to touch on all of these issues. They were directed to say things like Barack Hussein Obama over and over again. So it's not subtle. I don't know how it's working now at Fox News, but, this stuff is all intentional.
And it is true. Biden's issues were definitely not forefronted in the general election. And it was true that people voted, and I think to a large extent, that's why he won the primary too, frankly, because people were inspired to vote against the fact that our president was insane and was literally denying the existence of a pandemic as hundreds of thousands of Americans died. So if you put aside that part, maybe they've got an argument.